A voice for those who want to be heard, but seem to always get overlooked, who are hiding in the shadows, but want to step into the light. Sounds that resonate with all frequencies, that need to be heard, but are often gone, overlooked. Divine Time is a podcast that covers everything to elevate those who are hiding in the shadows, to help those who want to be seen, who need to be heard, but feel that there's always something holding them back from getting their voice out. We've got comedy, we have insightfulness, we have the truth, and we know how important the truth is these days. Stay tuned for an episode of Divine Time.
What up, what up, what up, what up? This is your boy Danli Divine. I am here with another episode of Divine Time. It's been a long time coming since I felt like I've done an episode. I mean, granted, for y'all probably just feel like every week there's one dropping, but for me, there's been a big time lapse. There's been a lot of things going on in life, a lot of things that I've been learning, a lot of things that I've been growing through. One of those things is dealing with the feeling of failure. I mean, there's a lot of times where in life, I feel as if I'm not good enough or that there's things that I feel that I can't do alone. But in all honesty, I know that as long as I put my mind to it, I know I can get through it. But it still doesn't change the fact that at times it kind of does beat me up, you know? With it, I have with me Dollie on with me today as we talk about combating failure, the feeling of failure in yourself. So hello, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
What you want to know?
I don't want to know anything. I guess everybody else probably want to know. I know enough. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my name is Dollie. I guess I'm a medical case manager. I love that. I just enjoy helping people. I'm in school actually for counseling to become a counselor to obtain my LCSW. Wanting to service the Brown community with mental health, as well as substance abuse. So that's my heart. Mm-hmm. So any way I can give back to the community is what, I'm drawn to. That's pretty much me, that love. I'm not going to say like the kumbaya love. Yes and no, but in a sense of seeing one another for being a human being and loving that person for who they are, where they are, without judgment. So
okay.
That's me in the box.
So with that, I guess we can just go ahead and dive on in. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let's so
Trey Songz.
Let's start it off with what is failure to you?
Failure to me, I would say, is falling short. Missing the mark in a sense.
I feel like that's every man's sex life.
Whoops! I walked right into that one. Like setting a standard, a requirement for yourself, and then not exceeding or meeting those expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like failure, in a sense, it can be such a negative word. Because you hear anybody say like I failed, then it's like, dang, like that's kind of harsh.
Yeah.
Off gate. So I think it can have a negative stigma attached to it simply because of the definition of, not being enough in a sense. What I'm saying? Not hitting the mark, or I was almost there.
Yeah.
Seeing something and not being able to, like, or barely being able to touch it, but not able to touch it. Like you didn't attain it. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So have you ever ran across a time where you felt like you failed at something?
Oh, yeah.
You want to elaborate a little more on that?
I feel like, well, daily, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
so, daily, I'm like, dang, I missed the mark in how I spoke to somebody. A word that I could have used a different word. Like, I'm saying? Like today I failed in making somebody else laugh,
Mm-hmm.
anything that I set out to do and I don't do, then it makes me feel like a failure. But I have to remember, like, I'm imperfect,
Mm-hmm.
gonna make mistakes. Let's try again tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Like, don't beat yourself up today because you messed up today. Now you are aware of it. Let's try and hit that mark tomorrow. So, um, like right now, active where I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm failing, right? Just everybody has their own definition of failure.
Their own
So I
standards.
feel like exactly. And right now, I feel like with my standard, with my schooling, I don't have an A. I have a B. I'm very, very
Mm-hmm.
high B, and I'm upset. I feel like I fail. I feel like I'm failing this class. Like I feel like my high B is an F. That's
Oh
how I feel.
gosh.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, it's a certain
You're
standard.
making it
If you
sound like you grew up with Asian parents.
don't, that's my standard, But I have to
You have a
say,
B,
like,
you fell.
that's how I feel right now. So, but I know like you're not failing, Eudalia. Like, get it out your head. Your
Mm-hmm.
standard is at A, pretty much an A plus, like a 95. And if I get a 94, I'm already tripping. If I'm at a 95, I'm tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real, but that's the standard because I'm paying for my education now.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So with it, I have something pulled up right now where it's talking about 10 ways of dealing with the feeling of failure. The first one, it says embrace your emotions. I'm like, so when it comes down to it, do you feel that there's always uh, a lot of emotions that follow through when it comes down to failure? So like one part right here where it says allowing yourself to feel bad is motivating. It can help you work harder to find better solutions so that you'll improve next time. I mean, like for me personally, whenever like I said, I'm dealing with a lot right now. Have dealt with a lot within like the last year and a half, learned a lot as well. And with it, I think the first thing that I was not doing was embracing those emotions. I was
Mm.
not taking those emotions and putting it towards motivation. Now, without like, I really do, because when I start feeling some type of way, I start exercising. I've really gotten back into exercising a lot like how I used to, and I feel like that's really helping with my mental health. Um, then at the same time, I've also changed my mindset where it's like, for me, fail. I've read this somewhere once before in the past where it's like first attempt in learning. And with it, I'm like, I really like that. I mean, I could sit here and have a pessimistic mindset and be like, well, how many times do you have to fail how is it still going to be the first attempt in learning if you're failing so many times at it? So it's like, when does it become the second attempt to fail, second attempt in learning, a third attempt in learning, At that point, it's like almost like insanity, but at the same time, still growing with it. When have have you ever taken your emotion and used it to motivate you to keep on pushing through when you did not reach that standard that you had set for yourself?
That's a good question. Um, I mean, all the time. And it because again, like I was saying, it can have such a negative stigma attached to it, which it can be, you
Mm-hmm.
know, all the time. Like I have to challenge my thoughts and have those conversations with myself in a positive way, uplifting my own self. Like, listen, dude, even go back to that grade. Like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You have to deal with your emotions and accept it's okay. Now that you've gone through this, now you just have to try harder. Try and do something else to fix that. How can
Mm-hmm.
we fix this instead of looking at it like you said in a pessimistic, mindset? We have to change the way we think about things. And so all the time, I literally have to say, okay, cool, it happened. I'm disappointed in myself. What did I learn from it? Get a hold of my thoughts and how can we go ahead and make this better?
That's good. That's good. So for number two, it states that you should recognize unhealthy attempts to reduce pain. And one of the examples that they give is kind of like not downplaying the situation. Like, don't be like, I didn't actually want that job anyway, or distracting yourself by filling the void with things like food, drugs, or alcohol, because it's not going to heal your pain either. And I think that's one thing that I recognize a lot. Like, you see it in movies and stuff, like a lot of people after a relationship, they're stuffing ice cream in their face and all that stuff, where it's like, oh, my relationship didn't work out. Chunky monkey, gar, 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 gar. Or they'll sit there and just be like,
bawling their eyes out.
I was just about to say, I was like in Washington or Cali, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, hits blunt. F it. So I mean, that's one thing. I'm like really being able to recognize these unhealthy attempts to reduce the pain and downsizing really how you felt about the situation to try and make it to where you seem a lot more tough than you are. And I feel like that's something that a lot of men do, especially these days, to where like if they feel that they failed at something, or if someone calls a man out on something that they did not achieve or was not up to a certain person's standard or whatever, a lot of times, because with us men, we're not going to sit there and show our faults, our weakness to an individual. So I mean, it might eat us up inside, but we're not going to be like, man, it's whatever. And I mean, a lot of men will lash out at the person who has pointed that out, just because they're a little pride and ego. But then they'll probably be eating them up for a long time internally as they're walking away, if they have some kind of conscience, at least.
That's good. I can understand and see that, situations. You said something earlier regarding like, you would hold on to stuff, when you go through stuff back. You said it earlier, and, it made me think it was like, the consequences of holding on to that stuff, those negative feelings and emotions that can have horrible adverse reactions on our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Fix it. Why, God?
Never. Are you not entertained?
No. I'm like this.
Whatever.
Put it back on.
I am too sexy for my shirt. All right, let me stop. But no, sorry to take your train of thought. Go ahead, continue.
But no, like, holding on to all those negative emotions can cause like other issues.
Facts.
That's cognitively, I'm saying, our sleep pattern, so it's a lot of different things that can transpire from just holding on to that, getting sick in our bodies. Like, it's a whole domino effect of, what is the word I like to say? Symptoms that come.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and that goes into a whole rabbit hole. You know how my mind thinks.
Yeah. Oh, we are one and the same. We are one and the same. We are one and the same. So for the third one, it says practice healthy coping skills. So, for example, calling a friend, or practicing deep breathing, meditation, taking a bubble bath, going for a walk, or playing with your pet are just a few examples of healthy ways to deal with your pain. Not every coping skill works for everyone. However, so it's important to find what does for you. I feel like that right there comes into really knowing who you are and what you like and everything. A lot of people these days are doing a lot of things just because that's what they see other people doing, and they don't really know exactly who they are or what their likes, values, beliefs are and everything. There's a lot of people who are there's a lot of Indians, very few chiefs. And it sucks that the few chiefs that we have are usually on the Black Mirror, the television screen. But yeah, I'm like practicing healthy coping skills. Like I said earlier, I was like, for me, like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you are, when it says like phone a friend, that's you. I will call you, because I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to like other people. I've learned my lesson with confining in other people with things, because it's like oftentimes, and I mean, there's like two other people I can talk to, but I mean, they're always busy as well, and I know that you'll always end up picking up. I just don't really trust individuals anymore. Oh, stop it! Don't make that face. Taking a bubble bath, that is definitely therapeutic on my part. So, what are some healthy coping skills that you use?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that, because, I did some research here, and it definitely did say, notice the positive.
Mm.
And noticing that positive. A lot of times when we go through, like you said, you have to find something for yourself. A
Yeah.
lot of times when we go through things, we withdraw and we lose ourselves, as you said. And things of regaining yourself is to have self-care. I haven't learned recently to go and take myself out. If I'm overwhelmed, I got to get away. Just me, myself, and I get my thoughts. I've always been, I'm a people person. Call a
Okay.
spade a spade. And I noticed, even growing up, I was always told, don't be a people pleaser. I'm a chameleon from going from place to place to place being in the military. So I lost pieces of myself trying to please other people.
Yeah.
And so recently this year,
I feel you
it's
there. I feel
something,
you there.
yeah,
I
it's just something
recently
that you
I
gotta, yeah.
recently realized it.
Mm-hmm. And when you do that, we lose ourselves and we get hurt.
Facts.
So that being said, this year I was so I lost, not being able to work and all kind of things that was going on in my life. It was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
You start to feel like a failure as a human being. And being that low, I was like, you know what, Laura, I have to do something for myself. I'm always doing stuff for other people, and I've lost who I am. I went and took myself on a date. I took a book, something I've never done before. I stepped out and did something that I've never done before. Fear, all of that. I was like, bump that. Kids are in school. I say, I'm not doing jack dilly squat today. I took a book. I took myself out on a date. I went to a new restaurant that had just opened
Mm-hmm.
up by myself. So I had an experience by myself and read my book. And the lady was like, oh my God, what are you reading? Like, these look so peaceful. And I always thought people going out by themselves like that was weird. No, I understand exactly why. To get away from all these crazy people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
mean, we all are crazy. When I say crazy people, I'm not saying people who have, let me make sure I say this disclosure because of the profession that I operate in now. When
Yeah.
I say crazy people, we all are crazy. We all have our
Welcome,
demons. We all
welcome,
go through
Jade.
stuff. So I'm not downing anybody in their mental condition or anything. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
simply stating is, it's, to get away, clear my mind. I was going crazy. So I needed to step away and find who I was, to find Dollie. That was the best thing I ever did in my life. That set the tone for I was like, you know what? Every month I'm gonna go and do something for myself. So like I told my husband, I was like, next week I'm feeling that urge, like you got to get out. It's summer vacation, the kids are home, and I'm feeling that I got to get out. Like these kids is home all day long. I got all this
Mm-hmm.
homework. Now I got all this stuff. I'm studying for work stuff. Like I don't have no time for myself no more. So feeling like a failure in that, I felt myself last month not going on my date. I took my son out on a date, not myself.
That's what's up. Jade says that she's crazy too. No, you're not. You're not
You're not
crazy. You're not
crazy,
crazy. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like, in all honesty, like my wife, she used to do that. Just go to the library, sit and just read books and stuff by herself. And I mean, I would take myself out on dates. I would just go to the movies by myself, or anytime I felt like I need to recharge, or I ultimately just felt like I was not. I I need to recharge, or I felt out of myself. And I mean,
yeah.
for a long time when I was dealing with things that was not me, I was feeling out of myself quite often. So it's like I got to the point where I was like, I'm not always going to spend money on stuff. I would just go down to the lake, have like a book and go down to the lake, or I would go to the lake and fly my drone, or be at the lake and just overlook the water and watch people on their boats doing stupid stuff and things like that. Just being out in
Watching is
nature,
fun.
and yeah, you know me, I'm always like making little creating stories in my head and narratives of people, just people watching, letting people do people, let people crazy.
People watching is
So
so much fun.
it is like you make a whole narrative, but hey, we can touch on that
Yeah.
later. So with it,
Yeah.
for another one, it says acknowledge irrational beliefs about failure. You may have developed some irrational beliefs about failure at some point in your life. Perhaps you think failure means you're bad or that you'll never succeed, or maybe you think no one will like you if you fail. Those types of beliefs aren't accurate, and they can prevent you from doing things where you might not succeed. Make a point to identify the irrational beliefs that might be impacting your feelings and behavior. Cheese and bread. That
Well.
yeah, that right there is definitely something, because I mean, when it comes down to it, the way that you were brought up, I want to say this real quick. So anybody who is over here, we're utilizing the chat. So I mean, go ahead and type in the chat, and we will definitely get you out here. Jay said facts. So I mean, with it, it's ultimately, I feel like the way that you're brought up, the household that you are brought up in, that right there can play a big part on what you see as failure. Like earlier when you were talking about you have a B in
Mhm.
your class, and I was like, not trying to sound like racist or anything, but I mean, in all honesty, I give props to like the Asian households because y'all they be holding it down. Like that's the reason why all y'all always got good grades for the most part, unless you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna be a little gangbanger and beat up people instead of going to school.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, like I said earlier, where I was like, dang, like, did you grow up in an Asian household where it's like you see a B is failing? I mean, that right there comes down to the beliefs of what you think failure is. I mean, explain to me a little bit more about your standard when it comes to your schooling.
Me?
I
What?
mean, no, the picture behind you.
I know, I'm just kidding. Gosh, this is deja vu. Um, my standard. So let me. Okay, I'm not gonna not answer your question. You said something that really goes back to like the
That
root
tells me you're not
cause.
going to answer my question. Got you.
I am. It's gonna tie in. Watch this. Watch this. You said something about pretty much the root causes, knowing the root cause of your failure. Am I right?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. In the sense of you were literally talking about, don't give me the line, but it was something I said, yep, you got to understand the root cause of where this
Yes.
stuff comes from. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
doing some research, you have to, it literally says the same thing. It says engage in self-compassion. And that goes back to understanding where this is trauma come from, So with that being said, there's a lot of patterns of how we think about ourselves because of things that have been spoken over us. Okay.
Yeah.
Expectations from your parents or caregivers. This is what this is saying: depression, perfectionism, low self-esteem is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Cultural norms, like you said. Yes, this is all in the article. Where's another one? Let's see: extremely successful parents or close family members. So these are all, some of the things that comes from that. So with that being said, to answer your question, mine
Yes.
comes from my childhood.
Okay. Okay.
That's where it comes from. Being so like, nope, so here's the thing. High school, I was not the best student in high school. I've graduated high school. I actually had more credits than I needed to when I graduated. Okay. Hey, Queenie. Um, However, I didn't really grasp the importance of education until my junior year in high school.
All right.
And I wasn't planning on going to college. I was like, I ain't got time for that. That's because of how our parents pushed school. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
really sat down and actually helped me with my schoolwork. So I was like, well, you don't care? I don't care. Education's not that important, but you're going to college. It is what it is, but I'm not grasping these things. So I was like, forget school. As an adult now, doing what I'm going to school and I got to pay for it when I didn't have to pay for it then, I understand the importance of it. I failed myself by not going to school when I should have went to school at 18 years old to actually do what I wanted to do, but I didn't know. And so now I'm very hard on myself because for one, I kicked myself in the hind part for not doing that. Two, I got to pay for it. And three, my goal, because I did not do well in school, taking it back to childhood, is I want to graduate with honors. That is my,
Yes.
and so in order for me to graduate with honors, because that's something I did not get to achieve in high school, that is a goal of mine. And because I was talked about so negatively about my reading, my writing, always criticized, I'm going to graduate my college degree with honors. I want to graduate magna cum laude. I want to walk with honors. So I'm hard on myself because I want straight A's. I want that 4.0. I said my first year of college, I want to graduate with a 4.0. Right now I'm sitting at a 4.0. This is my last class of my freshman year. I have two weeks left, actually this week and next week, and I'm sitting at an 88. Homie, I'm not happy. Like I need a 95. So in that sense is where I'm just like, that's where that comes from. I already got accepted into, the honor society for school, but it's still a goal that was set for myself because of the things I went through as a child.
Okay.
So that tie back around to the root cause as to why. You see what I did there?
I do. So, Queenie, the question that we had just asked, well, we had just spoke on a little bit of acknowledging irrational beliefs about failure. When it comes down to dealing with failure, do you have anything that you want to add on with that? And hello. Jay says mine is from having to either measure up to or surpass my mother, who excelled at practically everything. And then she also said, you better smash that final, that will bump you right up.
Girl, thank you, boo. I'm going to. Queenie, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Okay. I see I can read them lips though.
Yeah. And then with it, we got the Clubhouse link in there too, if you want to jump in there, because then we be able to hear you on there also. We're multitasking right now, so that way everybody in the chat can talk. We can interact with them as well. I have the link right here in our chat for you if you want to do that. But I guess you're
working on it.
Okay.
She said, I'm trying. I'm working on it. That's exactly how she said it. You know her voice. I'm trying.
Yeah, that's why I laugh. That's why I laugh. I was like, I can so hear her through you right now. Look at you channeling her. You channeling her whole energy. You little medium. Let me find out.
Nope.
All right, so with I'm gonna move on to the next one. The next one says develop realistic thoughts about failure. Ooh, with that one, I feel like it kind of ties into the last one. And I mean, you already had pretty much hit this too when you spoke earlier.
Me?
Yes, you.
I just be talking, man. I'm telling you.
That's go on, talk, baby, talk. So with it says that when you find yourself thinking that you're a hopeless cause or that there's no use in trying again, reframe your thoughts. Remind yourself of more realistic thoughts about failure. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I thought you froze for a second.
No. Reframe your thoughts. Remind yourself of more realistic thoughts about failure, such as failure is a sign that I'm challenging myself to do something different. I can handle failure and I can learn from my failures. I'm like, that right there, that speaks plenty volumes. Like, I think the part that sticks with me the most is I can handle my failure and I can learn from my failures. Because I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like a lot of things that we go through in life, we're never going to be perfect at it. We are never, ever going to do something the first time and master it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have been, there's some people, I take that back. There's some people who may be a natural with things, like when it comes to like math or maybe even some things that are like physical, but at the same time, they can still get better. So you can't really say that they have perfected it. I mean, depending on what their standard is, they might be everybody else, but still feel like they failed.
True.
So, I mean, that is something right there as well. And I mean, to really, when situations arise that you go through and it may be troublesome and everything, learning from those situations, I feel that right there really shows your, not courage. Yes. It really shows who you are as an individual. It shows your strength too, your mental strength also. Because I mean, I feel like when it comes down to failure, like something that I'm familiar with, fighting. So let's say that you have somebody and they're in the ring and they lose a fight, and then after that they just start declining. It's hard for them to come back from that loss, because it's like they end up having that fear in their mind, which therefore kind of holds them back. And I mean, it's kind of like how when we were talking to the one dude in the clubhouse in the mornings, and he was always going to jump on. He would say that he would start journaling, and then he never really would. And then ultimately what it comes down to is it sounds like he's really just afraid to. It sounds like he was afraid to start journaling because he didn't want to go through all those thoughts again. When it comes down to it, like me and you have discussed before, a lot of things come down to the fear. We live in a era of fear to where we are afraid to do so many things just because of the fact that we're afraid to fail at it, or we're afraid to deal with the consequences that may come with it.
What up, it's your boy Westside Jones. Be sure to check out my podcast, Vibes of Westside, Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. Also, be sure to check out some of my music on all streaming platforms. Westside Jones is WESSYDEJONES. Get familiar.
Yeah.
So I think that's when it really comes to, I can handle failure, like how it says. And then failure is a sign that I'm challenging myself to do something difficult. And I mean, a lot of people, it seems like they want to have just like that easy coasting road. And anytime that there's a bump in the road, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And they're like, oh my God. And it's like, look, like my wife has been saying this for a while. She's like, all the stuff that she goes through or that we go through is ultimately to prepare us for what's to come next. Because we cannot, if we have the same weak mindset and everything going into something, then when the blessing reaches us, we might not be ready for it. We might not be able to handle it. We might not know how to handle it, you know?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
there she
Okay.
is.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
So with it, we were just talking about how changing your mindset about failure. And I mean, the three things that we were just hitting when you just came in was failure is a sign that I'm challenging myself to do something difficult. And then I can handle failure and I can learn from my failures. And I mean, with it, I felt like that came back down to the living in a society of fear, where it's like people are afraid to do things because they're afraid of the consequences that may end up following it.
That's true.
That is all facts.
I just
I
feel like
just-
rejection too.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I just say fuck it and try it. And then I'll figure out the other shit later. Like that's how I live, because fear can be crippling. No, fear can be very crippling and it'll stop you from ever doing anything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So just fuck it, do it. I mean, because you're gonna regret you didn't do it later. So do you want to
Facts.
mess up and learn from your mistake, or do you want to waste time later in life being like, oh, I could have been this, or I could have did that, and I had this idea.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, you don't want to be living in regret, wondering what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if? And I think that's, for me, that is probably worse than the feeling of failure, just thinking of what if. I mean, like, for example, like I'm gonna be pretty juvenile with this one. Going back to like middle school, where you're arguing with somebody, and then afterwards you're like, oh damn, I should have said this. I should have said this. I should have said this.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man.
I still do that now.
It's like, dang, I could have responded to this when they said da 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 da. Like, I saw a video, I might have sent it to you, Queenie, where this little kid was just like, you got a Tic Tac for a penis, and the little kid was like, that's why your mama breath smells so good. And the little kid's parents was like, oh, the dad was drinking a beer, I think, and like kind of spit it out and looked at the kid, and the mom was like, oh, and like grabbed the kid, and the dad, he just had this look on his face like, that's my son. But I mean, like, seriously, like in a situation like that, that's just a very small situation, but taking it to something bigger. Let's say you were at work and you did everything that you needed to do, but then at the end you found out that you missed out on a promotion, and you're thinking like, dang, I could have put a little more oomph into these paperworks, or on one of these days I could have came in a little bit earlier and I could have knocked out a little bit more. So that was just that what if that's lingering over you, you know? So now it's just that feeling of just like feeling like, damn, I really did not put my all into it. And there was something that like my stepdad said when I was younger that I still hold to myself now. I'm like, if you do everything to the best of your ability the first time, then you won't have to double back and do it again. But now with it, there is a little loophole there, because what if the best of your ability still isn't good enough for the person who may be inspecting it? But with it, it's like, at least you know that you did the best that you could, and you weren't like half A in anything, you know? So with it, we have number 6, accept an appropriate level of responsibility. Oh, here we go with accountability. Oh, we about to hit the hard part. You know, nobody will talk about accountability these days. We've talked about accountability multiple times, but the appropriate level of responsibility, like really being able to say, like, you know what, I could have did better. So when you think about your failure, look for explanations, not excuses. Identify the reasons you failed and acknowledge what you can do differently next time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sounds like accountability.
Yeah,
That is true.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
So Miss Queenie, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Would you say that you struggle with taking that responsibility for falling short
My
sometimes
actions?
for your failure?
No, absolutely not. I'm a human. If I know something that I have done, I know, but you know what? Actually, no, I kind of do, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, well, you know what? The universe prevented it, so it wasn't meant for me. Because and that will be like, even though I know I'll be like, you know what, I should have worked. I'll be like, I should have worked harder on that, or I should have gave that more time, or I should have did this and did that. And it's like,
Mhm.
next time I got to prioritize it this way. And then I'll jump right after that accountability part to, well, you know what? If I didn't do it right, I mean, maybe the universe just don't have it it's not for me. Like that's
Right.
where, like, that's where I'll just kind of, and I'll just get it off my shoulders like that. Be
Mhm.
like, if I really wanted it, I'll go for it. Cause I do what I feel like I want to do.
I mean,
So,
that's human nature. I mean, that's something that we talk about. People make time for the things that they want to, and they do the things that they want to
mhm,
do. So, I mean, that really will
mhm.
be able to show where something is at a priority in your life as well.
That's true. The thing you care most for is what you're going to put forth your most time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Facts on facts on facts. And I
Mhm.
mean, that's yeah. Ooh, I've never heard this one before. Research famous failures. Many successful people continue to fail regularly. Actors get rejected for roles, athletes get cut from the team, and business owners get turned down for deals. Study what they did to bounce back. You might learn skills that can help you in your own life. It can be helpful to see that the failure is something that everyone deals with. Okay, I see what they're saying now. So pretty much look up other people who have failed as well. So that way you can kind of look at it and be like, you know what? In my head, the way that I'm thinking of it is right now is, you know what? There's people who have gone through worse than me, who their failures were bigger than the failure that I'm going through at the moment. It's kind of like the same thing. It's where it's like, okay, we all have our problems. If we all took our problems and threw them in a bag, which bag would you grab? Like, okay, cool. I missed the bus today. Damn, now I gotta walk to school. Well, all right, cool. This dude missed scanning for an ID and lost both his legs. Which failure is worse? You know? Oh, how can I bounce back? He was able to bounce back and still continue running and doing marathons, and I'm over here complaining that I gotta walk to school. So
I mean, but my question in that kind of is why is it necessary to compare your plight to another? Like you can just say you're grateful it's not worse,
mhm,
or you're grateful that it's something that you can bear. You see what I'm saying? But
yeah.
in the comparison of the plights, like I feel like when people do that, that's when it becomes like, well, who's the greater victim contest that people love to play in various types of conversation.
Yeah.
So
That's
if you
true.
just have gratitude for it not being worse for yourself, you don't have to compare your pain to someone else's, because it's probably equally painful, to you, just because you might be in a better off situation, but it's
Mhm.
something that does pain you. And so you
Yeah,
need to, hold with that.
So
Don't compare
what's
that's
yourself
good.
to others.
one of the things it says right here, study what they did to bounce back. You might learn skills that can help you in your own life. So
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what it is. That was me that did that comparison. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
shitty comparison, but well, I feel like that does kind of play into it, but I see what you're saying about the comparing of failure and failure. With this one, it was trying to use it more as an uplifting thing to see what these people did
Okay.
to bounce back to, all right, cool. Well, is there
So here
something
on,
that they did that I could possibly use as well?
You
That
know
could,
that's the 409. Y'all never heard of that spray, the cleaner 409?
yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's literally called 409 because they had 408 failures.
bruh.
Wow.
They started off trying to, first of all, create it for something else, and it
Mhm.
just wasn't working. And then they found out that it could be used as a multi-surface cleaner, all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's how 409 got the name 409. Because
Random
Fun fact.
facts, but it
408
fits.
failures. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
So when
what's
I was
up.
looking up, it's funny that you were talking about comparing stuff. No, I need to stop saying that. But anyways, so when I was doing my research, it
Mhm.
says feeling like a failure or like you're not good enough also stems from comparing yourself to others.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the psychologist says it's easy for us to compare ourselves to those around us and immediately feel as though we have failed in one way or another. So then it talks about social media, having people around us as far as our community, somebody having a better job, having a great family, or having a nicer house. We're comparing ourselves to what somebody else has,
Yeah.
kind of like when Queenie was saying, well, maybe, you know, that's not, the universe doesn't want me to have it. Like, it may not be our time, and we can internalize that as being a failure. Like I was saying earlier, rejection, you know, like that right there breeds for, oh, well, dang, you know, we start feeling down and start beating ourselves up. But you think about it, if you compare yourself to Susie Q, who did the same thing as you did, and she succeeded in your eyes, you don't know what Susie Q really did.
Yep.
Why are you comparing yourself to her? You know,
Yeah.
so sometimes you can be our own worst enemy, especially when we compare ourselves.
Facts on facts. And that is so true. So when it comes down to like failure, have you ever had that moment where you're just like, you know what can I learn from this situation? What can I learn from this? Because I know, like, for me, like, when I fight and everything, if you end up losing, like, one of my coaches, one of my first coaches, he always told me, he's like, it's not you lost, it's what did you learn?
Mhm.
And it's like, I learned to make sure I tuck my chin so that way I don't get rocked so goddamn hard next time, or something along those lines. So it's like, have y'all ever had times where it's like y'all did not get the outcome that y'all wanted, but then you also recognize what the lesson was through that?
Oh, yes. For me, absolutely. In my life, I tell people all the time, everything is a lesson or a blessing, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Facts on facts.
blessing or a lesson. That's all that is going to happen in life. So I take time to try to figure out what the lesson was. There are times where it'll be just like, how is it possible? Like, I'll be just sitting down eating or doing something or working, and it's just like, how did this happen to me? Like, what am I doing for for these events to occur this way? And that's that crippling shit I was talking about earlier, where it just consumes your mind. So you got to be
Yeah.
careful with that. But yeah, like, you have to, because how are you going to grow if you don't figure out? I mean, it's all a game. We have to figure out how to play it the right way.
Like a
So
chessboard.
the great chessboard. Dolly, you have anything to add to that, or any examples of like when you had got a lesson from a failure?
I mean, I agree with what Queenie said. Like, you know, it's all in your mindset when you go through things. You know, you're gonna look at it and look at it in the pessimist, woe is me, or you can look at it in an optimistic manner, you know, and say, what did I contribute? You know, look at everything, the steps. What did you do? What could you have done? Comparing yourself to yourself, because only you know yourself. You know what I'm saying? So in any situation that recently that I've been more, you know, taking more accountability for me, I've like, all right, what did I contribute? How can I do this better next time? All right, you know what? I spent that money way too damn quick. Next time, how much, excuse me, what should I do as far as putting money away? Should I put an extra $10, extra $100? I'm not gonna touch that. It's more so of assessing each individual situation and moving forward from that. I made the mistake. This is what happened. It is what it is. Next time I'm not gonna do that. It's ultimately like what I have been trying to do in becoming a better person in everything.
Okay. So with it, have y'all ever got done with a failure? Have y'all thought about, like, sat there and tried to plan out how you're going to move forward from this point on? Like, has something ever hit y'all to where y'all were just like, damn, all right, yeah, I really messed that up. All right, what can I do to be better next time? Or what can I do to make sure that I stay on course for what my goal is ultimately?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Walk me through
You
what
always
that kind
gotta
of looks
come.
like.
I need a solution to this problem. What am I gonna do? Like, I feel like I have ADD, so realistically, sometimes the plans fall through. Like, I'll tell myself, oh, well, I'm going to follow this tedious schedule every day. That doesn't fall into place how it should. But I, I get better. All you can do is just keep working on yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you have to come up with a solution, because it's the definition of insanity is literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like, that's ridiculous. Well, it's a part of the definition, but yeah.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result. Insanity. So Jade
Mhm.
Swanson says, sometimes I don't automatically jump to what was the lesson. Sometimes it takes me a while to get there. Usually later I have more clarity. Okay. I can
That's
see
good.
that. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, at least you still get that clarity. And I mean, I can understand, because if you have like all the emotions and everything still going on after that failure, depending on how detrimental that failure was to you, of course, you're not going to be able to see right away exactly what that lesson was. You're going to need to be able to get back to your balanced self and then be able to see things with that clarity to really be able to piece things together and understand what to really understand, like, okay, this and this happened because of this. So what should I do differently the next time? Or what did I learn ultimately from this happening? All right, bet. Now let me plan of how I can go forward. So yeah, I mean, it's
What?
difficult. Sorry.
This
Like
one.
what?
My mind.
That was like that was a random onomatopoeia. Like I'm like, what is happening right now?
No, we all do things. Dang it!
All is
Don't
flowing.
judge me. Don't
But
judge
I'm
me.
not judging you, but it was random and unexpected. Like it just because I've
Asking all the
never heard you
questions.
do
Why
that
you
before. So
asking
it
all
was
the
just
questions?
random and unexpected. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I do some
Yeah.
random things sometimes. As time goes on, you'll notice.
Mm.
Yeah. If you want to laugh at me, just mute so I don't hear it. Nah,
It's
you
not really
good.
something to laugh at. It was just different. I
Yeah,
noticed patterns and behaviors in people. Like each time we spoke to Dahlia, her articulation and her speech has gradually changed.
mhm.
Like and she brings up like doing more research and stuff like when we talk, and I love that because I begin like hear like studies about things and stuff, but people, I notice behaviors in people, and it's just when something changes,
Mhm.
it's just like, oh shit, okay. Because I'm weird as hell. I be in here pretending to be a jellyfish and shit, so I get it,
Oh,
but
trust me.
like
Yeah,
just be around my house doing crazy, like I
yeah,
get it, but it's
that's
just
one of the things with me. Like, people tell me all the time, they're like, bro, it's hard to predict what you're gonna do next. I'm like, I'm just all over the place. Like, I do, like how you said, it's like just trying to be, but I'm like, look, I'm in my
mm,
comfort zone right now. So yeah, you about to, it's gonna get wild. Right now, we're doing
I
the
feel you.
formalities, because once we start speaking and have our conversation, like we do, then you're really gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. So right now
We're
we're
gonna
doing the
be here
whole.
all night.
Yeah, we doing the
Um,
professional part right now. We're going through of the things that we have
we're
looked up,
doing
and
the
then really,
professional part.
yes, I said it.
There's a professional part. Oh Lord.
I mean, because as of right now, I'm
I
like,
ain't
all
gonna
right,
be up
bet.
here all night
We're
now.
dropping the
You
facts.
know,
I
us
mean,
two up here
I don't
all
I don't
night.
plan on it. I don't plan on it. We've only been going for about 30 minutes now. About so.
It was
Because
bring it
we
back, bring it
all right,
back.
cool. With it. Thank you. And that's why we have talking points. So with it as well, the last one is face your fears of failure.
What about it?
Just that word
I
fear.
don't even yeah, I'm like, I don't think I need to hit on that, because I had already hit on the fear earlier. I hit on the fear earlier before it even brought that up. This was the 10th part of
All of the questions literally gave tools on how to do that last thing you just said. So
yeah.
that's why I
And I
was like,
mean, it said it has the 10 points. It has the 10 points of dealing with failure. And I'm like, so really
yeah,
this is all, and this is the conclusion. It's summing everything up.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
I
cool.
mean, with it, it says you've spent most of your life avoiding failure. It can feel really scary when it finally happens. Facing your fears, however, it can be the key to reducing the discomfort. I mean, we've been our whole life we live in fear. So I mean, everybody knows a level of failure at some point. I mean, whether it is that you feel like you've let your parents down or you let your friends down. I mean, some people may not feel right off the bat that they let themselves down until later on when they become an adult, or either they have responsibilities to where now they really can see the consequences of their actions for themselves, because they have to deal with it themselves. It's their parents or somebody else is not going to be, it's not going to be pushed up on somebody else because they're too young or something along those lines. But I'm like, the fear, like I was telling Dollie before, I was like, when you go to jump into your car, I was like, every time that you drive past a cop, your booty hole clenches because you're wondering, am I going too fast? Like, you worry about all these things, and it's just like
Yeah,
there's some natural things that we do out of fear that we don't even think about.
Yeah.
Just subconsciously, it's like boom. because you already know what could possibly happen, and that those just the thought of those things kind of scare you. So I mean, it's ridiculous how much in our life we operate off of fear. Now, with that, this is when we get to the good part. Boom! What the heck?
I do know also that someone once, I heard it somewhere, someone told me, because I'm into all that hippy dippy frequency shit. So if you're into the hippy dippy frequency shit, then
I can match your energy there.
yeah. So if when you learn to be able to, what is it called? When when you can basically think well on your feet, improvisation, there it is. Work on your critical thinking skills, and you'll be better and readily able to improvise in situations when it's necessary.
Yes.
Because if you see you like you driving by a police officer, we all be scared, be like, dang, is he coming after me? And I'll have to, because that fear that you're putting within yourself, if you are conscious and you're in the moment, you will know if, you'll know if you're doing what you should be doing, or you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we'll drive and we just kind of daze or haze off into our minds.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Especially if it's a route that you've taken before. I don't know if it's happened to anybody else, but sometimes I'll be like, when did I get this far up the road? Like,
I've done that a few times, and I have to sit there and I'm just like, oh man,
because it's a route you take all the time.
That usually happens when I'm like talking to people on the phone or something. Because then it's like I lose track, and next thing you know, I miss my exit, my turn, or whatever. And I'm just like, yo, I gotta bounce. I can't. But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's almost like time went by faster or something.
Well, it's not really in situations like that for me, because if it's somewhere that I don't know where I'm going, I pay attention. Like I feel myself paying attention more often. But I mean, if it's like a common route, like it's this same store, this same road that you'll go home, the same work route, and you take it, and then you'll find, like, you'll literally get inside of your head, like, you can see what's happening, you see what I'm saying, and react, but you tune out because you go that way so often. You get the flow of how that traffic's going to go at the time you're going and all that type of stuff. So you will people actually, like, you click out of your head, and it's like, oh shoot, when did I get this far up the road? I'm almost there. Let me start paying attention. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like that. Yeah, that happens a lot.
All the time.
You have to be conscious in even moments like that, because if you do just happen to see a cop, it'll be like, well, what am I doing? You know, you have that mindfulness is very, very important, because that's how you get shit done in life too. And don't let it pass you by. If you're mindful in what you're doing, like, should I be eating chips and on TikTok right now, or should I be trying to research for this thing I have to do? You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, procrastination as well. This is completely random, but I think this is like probably like my second time seeing you without a bonnet on, and I just realized that you didn't have one on.
What are you talking? Oh, that's not true. Because I've done this with you. That's not true. The first time I even did this with y'all, I had a wig on because I had to go do something for my job, and then the second time I either had piggy puffs or something like with my, but I didn't. I had my hair.
I thought this is my second time seeing your natural hair, and honestly, I didn't realize that you didn't have a bonnet on because it was like blending in. Like I thought it was blending in.
Oh, you talking about the thing?
So I was like, boom. It was when you went down, I saw the gleam off it. I was like, the texture is different. I was like, oh, that's her hair. So, but no, going back to it. I mean, in all honesty, for failure, I feel like we all as human beings have a lot that we can learn from failure. I'm hitting the part now where it's like, yo, we're just gonna chop it up for a little bit for a small amount of time. I say I'm gonna put a cap on it. We got 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. 15 minutes. So I'm like, I feel start the stopwatch. So with it, I feel like we all have a lot that we can learn from failure, because I feel like if you actually take failure and use it as a lesson, it can grow you as an individual.
Yeah. Remember, like we were talking on Tea Time, I think it was yesterday, we were talking about testimony. It's the test. You know, you go through things, whether you fail or you succeed, you're still able to talk to somebody else. We don't go through things for ourselves, we go through it for somebody else.
Yes.
So it allows us to pass that wisdom on to another individual, that maybe your failure, quote unquote, is actually what propels that person to succeeding. So how you look at it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything on that, Queenie?
No, I mean, because effectually she said the same thing, but she said testimony. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is a heart to even in your failures. Like it's like at least I can help somebody else. Like that is amazing. What can I say after that? I mean, that's how humans should be anyway. So
Yeah. Okay.
like that's how humans should be. Shit.
Yeah. And I feel like there's some people out there who feel that they should never fail. And therefore when they do, they take it so hard.
I'm sorry. You feel like you should never fail. Who the fuck
No,
are
I
you?
said
Are you like
there's some people out
no,
there
no,
who,
not you. No, not you individually, but for
yeah,
people who be like, oh, I should never fail. Who the fuck are you? Are you some type of ethereal god floating in the sky that you can turn like water into cotton candy or something?
Xerxes.
Like, like, can you, I don't know, if I be like money, can you like make it print out the TV screen, something? Like what is making you not a soul in a meat suit to where you're
it's like
not gonna fail?
I think it's that they know they can fail, but they take it so hard when they do fail, as if they expect themselves never to be able to fail. Like they're not ever. All right. So for example, think of some of, what are they, athletes, professional athletes, where it's like they're
Okay.
constantly working at it. So therefore it's like if they end up losing, they make it like they almost make it seem like it's the end of the world, and then they can bounce back and they try even harder. But at the same time, it's like when they do lose, it's like in their mind they were thinking like, I can't lose. It's almost like they were telling themselves that. I've actually listened to that one dude, he used to play for the Panthers, tall dude, I want to say Cam Newton. I don't really keep up with football like that.
Cam Newton.
Okay, so with it, I had listened to an interview where he was saying that when he gets out on the field, he's telling himself, I can't lose. But then when he does lose, it's kind of detrimental to him, and that's kind of pushes him to keep trying harder, to make sure he never gets that feeling again. But I'm just like, I can understand how you might be trying to use that as like motivation. I can't lose type deal. But then it's like, I feel like that it hurts even more when you do.
Well, I mean, you say what?
You're internalizing it. Like you're not perfect, homie. Like accept the fact that you're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you can't lose. Like you're trying to trick your brain and your body and the universe.
That really could be it. That he could be trying to trick his body and stuff to like go beyond its limits. Because I know when I used to do sports, I used to be like, okay, don't fuck this up. You cannot mess this up. You get it. We have to win. Like I know when, but it's really more or less because you do train and you do work hard. And so you want to tell yourself like, no, we finna win. And yes, it does hurt, but you're doing it like because you actually like it. I mean, realistically, it takes Cam Newton knows that it takes more than just him to play in the ball, really, to play football. Like he can't play a whole game by himself. So even if he does work, I mean, he told himself that and he stood out because even I know who his fine ass is. And because I do not follow football.
Oh my gosh.
I know because he got dreads now and stuff.
You do.
Locks. I'm sorry, not dreads. But yeah, so I mean, he tell himself that, but that pushes him to do his best every time as well. And if that's something that you want to use, as long as you don't truly internalize it and let it weigh you down, then I mean, it's a method. It's kind of a mini toxic method, but it's a method. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So what nah, the question just lost me. All right. Dolly, pick something up because I'm about to do my thing. I'm gonna close my eyes and take a deep breath.
What? You finna meditate?
Lost. You said you went up?
Do you, boo boo?
Pick
What is
up a
happening?
kid
Oh
and
my
kid.
God.
At least I was.
Stupid. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I had a question and it literally left me as fast as it came, and
Oh,
I
you
was
need
just
me
like,
to go
"Dang!"
with your
So I
train of
Oh,
forgot.
thought.
you need to
That's
search your
yeah,
mind
Got you.
castle.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, huh?
That's
That's
what
why
I
I was
You
just
call it,
was
like,
my
in the
mind
role.
castle.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
just
that's why I said I was like, I gotta close my eyes and take a deep breath because it's like I gotta slow everything
to
down.
find
Like
it.
it's just
Yeah.
going, everything's just and I that's when I
Stuck
keep
on Cam
stopping and
Newton.
stumbling over my words. It's because I'm trying to keep up with how fast everything's going through. That's why I'm just like I need to
Take a deep breath. Go in.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I was like, hey, can you? I was like, hey, do what you do. I was like, take over real quick because I just gotta.
Before we can stop talking, like I said, I was stuck on Cam Newton. I was like, yeah, he does have dread.
Oh my
He
god!
does.
Really
He's
are
so
now.
God. That man is like, oh
Goodness,
Jesus.
I'm being
y'all are
honest with you.
wild.
I was
Y'all are wild. Y'all
twisting
wild.
the hair at that. I was twisting my hair. I had him.
It's
I was in
just,
that moment. Hey, no.
That's funny because I was literally I had watched a video before I even came on. It was talking about men and their lust, and right now I'm listening to y'all. I was like, well, I guess women got their lust too. Then
I'm not lusting. I'm just
absolutely.
inquiring.
Oh no, it is absolute lust. I'm not finna fuck that man. What are you talking about? It is only lust. I know nothing about him personally. Like, even my own thoughts about him was like, you know what? He looked like he choke you while he hitting it from the back and like walk
bruh.
you through it in your ear. Like, like
Oh my
it's
My
god!
pure
thoughts were not that at
lust.
all.
Oh
Why?
no, mine
Why?
You
was.
take the cake.
Queenie, why did I just think of Kevin
What?
Gates? That's some scrap that he would do. Like like I heard Kevin Gates when you said that. Oh, wow.
Look, y'all need to get over on
Where
Book
he at?
Talk. Y'all on the wrong side of TikTok. Y'all need to go to
Get on
Book
book
Talk where
talk.
all the nerds read, who the nerds who read books.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So yeah, anybody else
Mm.
who's listening, book talk. I guess
Book Talk.
if y'all want to
Well,
run across Queenie because she pulling the curls out
Oh
her
no, I
afro right
don't
now.
be in Book Talk.
she
No, I
is
don't be.
planning the
She
hair.
Oh
thinking
my
about it,
God.
pulling the curls out her hair. She's like book talk.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh. No, I'm not. I just
Yes.
do it. Oh my gosh. But no, I'm just saying because if like on Book Talk, like a lot of course, women read like smut and romance
Mhm.
novels and like why fantasy, sci-fi shit. But most of it is just it's lust and it's creative lust.
Okay.
Like how the protagonist, like they go into detail about the protagonist of the story and every little thing and how she watched as his eyes glazed and staring her down, like, and all that type of shit. So
Mm.
it's easy when you read, like the shit going over on Book Talk. And when you read, it's easy to just get these imaginative scenarios in your
Yeah.
head.
They illustrate it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Remember the books,
Yeah.
the Zane books back in the
Oh
day?
my God, I read all of them. The Sisters of Alpha Phi
Gosh.
Fuck 'em, fucking oh my gosh.
Did you say the Sisters of
What
Alpha Phi fuck them?
that was one of her books, The Sisters of Alpha Phi Fuck 'em, Skyscraper. I was a big Zane fan. Oh, what was the one? No, what was the one about this girl? She had like
Jade, you
split
listening to
personality
these books?
disorder. Yes, like split personality disorder. She would do shit like she was some high power something, and then she'll like fuck the deli clerk at the grocery store in the freezer. Like it was some weird shit.
You
But
never heard the Zane
yes.
books, Steve?
Oh no,
Oh yeah, I
no.
was in high school when Zane was popping.
I had
Zane
no
was
idea about that.
popping.
Like
I
we
have
all
no.
Wait,
girl, did you read the new Zane book? Girl, you gotta get the Zane book. It was like that.
did y'all ever have an era at y'all school where everybody was passing around the Fly Girl book? Fly Girl?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Because that was another one. And The Coldest Winter Ever.
I
That
remember
sounds
that one
familiar.
You remember that one?
because I probably brought it home.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, that's probably
I had
why
to
it
hide it
sounds
from my
familiar.
mama.
I like to read. Remember, I used to really like to read. So yeah, I went to a phase and I'd be like,
Oh gosh. All right. Well, since we on that topic, I'm gonna tie it in back to failure because remember the comment you made earlier, Dolly, or that I
oh
made
my God, I already
earlier.
know where you're gonna go.
What?
Jeez.
I mean, when let's talk about that. We're gonna go ahead and hit the sexual failures real quick for like the
Sexual
last 5
failures.
minutes. Yep. I know it's gonna be a lot of backlash on men. But either way, I mean, sometimes we miss it hitting the mark, like how Dolly said.
Why do you assume it's going to be a lot of backlash on men? Do you know internally that you have failed in the bedroom or something? Because I would never assume that somebody could come and tell me I was bad in bed, like, because I know I put my best foot forward, like.
Yeah.
So
but I mean,
that's
when
why
it comes
I'm like,
down, I feel like with us men, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, was I really good enough? Because I mean, with it, you have to think about it. There are a lot of women who will fake. Then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, what you have some people where it's like, okay, well, as of right now in society, a lot of people think that if the bed sheets aren't wet, then you didn't do it right, or if her legs ain't shaking, you didn't do it right. So it's like, if you don't get those types of things, then a man might be thinking like, okay, did I really? And then a lot of times it's like you have some guys who make it seem like they're all this powerful and they really be beating it up, and in all honesty, they probably did not. So I mean, that's why I was just like, oh, we're gonna hit that one real quick, while I got two women on here to talk briefly about that.
I mean, why not? If okay, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, look, because if you're, because while you're in bed, I feel like you have the closeness to try to read and see how your partner is responding, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you can't have a conversation with them about what you like, you shouldn't be fucking them anyway.
That right there is the intimacy, but we're living in a lustful time. People are not trying to have that intimate time. They're trying to. I personally am not the type to like go around and sleep around like that. So I don't even know what's going through their head for them to just jump in and be trying to knock boots. I'm not sure if they're just trying to have that clout to like, yeah, I smashed this person, or my body count is up there or something. I don't know what's going through their head, but they're not trying to really get that deeper feeling with an individual anymore. So it almost seems like everybody's trying to live out that porn fantasy, which we all know is fake.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just want to fuck too. So, I mean, it just all depends on the person. But sometimes people just do want to have sex. That's what they want to do. That's their business though. But because you can't get water from a rock. So if that intimacy is not something that you want, that
unless you got Moses' staff.
Oh, my Father God.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You say you got Moses' staff. Lord have mercy.
What
But
I mean,
but
I'm so done with you right now. I can't.
But yeah, if you want that intimacy, that's something you got to work out with your partner. And then also you could, because if they just want to fuck, it could be like a role play thing that y'all do. Like, it doesn't always have to be like just so intimate and all this, that, and third, because realistically you could be fucking one person and they're just Cam Newton in your head.
Bruh.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you real quick.
I mean, shit.
Just don't yell out Cam though.
Oh no, that is so disrespectful.
It would be.
That is so disrespectful.
You know, it'd be crazy though. Like, what if you were with the dude whose name was Cameron? And you were just like, "Oh, Cam," and you're just like looking real quick. You're like, "It flows. All right, cool."
Oh, God.
But no, I feel like that
intimacy.
Yeah, the intimacy part, intimacy and communication. But I'm like, when it comes to from me being a man, I mean, like I don't know. Maybe I just sometimes feel like I might not be doing it right or something along those lines. But then I get that validation that yeah, it was good and everything. And I don't know. For me, I'm just like, you lying. It could have been better.
Insecurity.
Yeah, that's your own insecurity. That's something you got to work on, sugar. It was asked and it was answered. I'm just saying, it was
the timing of it though. The timing, you were like, that's insecurities.
That's insecurities.
That's your shit.
Because it was asked and it was answered.
Yeah, I'm not upset with it. I'm just laughing at the timing of you getting the drink. Literally, you did a whole Kermit the Frog meme right there. Those are insecurities.
That is your shit.
Well, we got questions in the chat. On
Oh,
my
we
phone.
do.
As I was checking it, I thought I did.
Oh,
Okay.
I think I lied. I lied.
yeah, it's still on the last one.
Okay.
I think I read that one already.
You
But I
did.
mean,
My eyes
ultimately,
deceived me. I'm sorry.
I'm like, when it comes, we all got glasses and we all seeing shit.
I know, we just can't. A bunch of people can't see the fuck.
Oh, have mercy.
We all got bifocals on and we still seeing things wrong. That's messed up. I need to see my optometrist.
Mm.
But no, with it, hey, I thank y'all for coming through. I feel like we had a pretty good conversation. Ultimately combating failure. Ultimately, I think that it comes down to fear altogether. It all comes down to fear and how you really look at it. So you're what's the word? Not perception. Yeah, nope,
No,
not
your
perception.
perception.
Yeah.
That is right.
Something's telling me that's not the word I'm looking for, but I'm gonna ride with it. So your
Your opinion?
perception on it.
Perspective. Is it
Perspective,
perspective?
yes, there. Thank
Perspective.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Queenie.
Mhm.
Thank you. So your perspective on the failure, and if you're overcoming that fear. So overcoming that failure ultimately will allow you to look that it's almost like looking the fear in the eye and knowing like, okay, cool. I'm not going to let this stop me. So even though I messed up on this, I'm going to challenge myself again to overcome that fear. Therefore, trying again to make sure that you get better than what you have just accomplished, because I don't even want to call it failure because you still did something. I mean, the only way to get somewhere is by leaving where you're currently at. And I mean, as long as you put forth that effort, you already have accomplished something. So you didn't completely fail. You might not have reached it to your standards and the ability that you wanted to be at, but you still accomplished something. And with that, there's a lesson in that. There is still growth. So even when you feel that you have failed at something, you still should reward yourself with the fact that you have accomplished something as well. Uh-oh, it's coming.
That is facts.
Yep. Divine time. That's Danli Divine for you right there. So yeah, I appreciate y'all really for coming on. I want to do now that I have the resources again, I want to get back into doing my group discussions. Those are so much fun. And I know, Queenie, you wanted to hit on the toxic side of spirituality, correct?
Oh shit, I don't remember, but I don't recall that, but we can. I don't remember.
It's
It's
okay.
like,
I'll go back because we had talked about it towards the end.
okay.
Actually, I don't think we recorded that. Let me go ahead and stop this recording for this. But yeah, that was what the heck? Where is it at? Oh, boom. Hey, that was another episode of Divine Time with Danli. I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, if you enjoyed what you heard, please hit me with a like, follow. All I do is ask to share. If you have a story that you want to share, you have a voice that you feel can impact others or possibly even shine light to their day, go ahead and hit me up on my email. It's danli@divinetime.blog. I say again, that's danli@divinetime.blog. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening.